We're going to skip over brow mapping for a minute because Kay is going to go into that in depth with you. And so if you go in section 2 and just start, let's see, about midway through, you'll have, called the best eyebrow shapes to beautify your face. There you go. Yeah, look for that blue. There you go. And then you'll actually have these slides in there. As we said, we want to design a beautiful brow for our client. We always work, move this way, okay. We always work with the natural brow that they have, if they do have natural brow. Definitely work with their bone structure and then that golden ratio. But we also do want to look at what the face shape is, because oftentimes, you know, we are maybe looking to kind of correct that face shape into more of an oval appearance. And in makeup, you see that a lot now with the contouring that we do, that we're looking to kind of make that more oval look to the face. So here we have an example of a square face, and square definitely means usually they have a very strong jawline, and you can see how it goes straight down here, and you have a real sharp edge here at the jaw. Sometimes they'll be a little bit more square here, but it's really looking at this right in there and then that curve there. So if somebody has very square, the last thing we really want to do is give them a very sharp eyebrow, unless they want to accent it. And if somebody does, that's great, you know, if they like to accent the squareness. So we want to have it softly rounded because it's going to soften that squareness. We want to be sure, though, to not go too round. We don't want the McDonald's arches or the rainbows going on. That doesn't look natural, but that also is not going to beautify the look of the face as well. So just make sure the brows aren't too angular, just that slightly rounded. You've got that nice arch going on, and then that tail that's coming out. And her brows are absolutely beautiful. She has a really nice shaped brow. Now, the round face, here we're going to look at somebody who literally has that fuller face. And typically they're going to have a softer contour to the face here. The chin might be literally, you're not going to have a whole lot of point or squareness there. And then the top and the bottom are going to be fairly equal here. And so what we want to do is we want to do a brow that's going to bring out some of the bone structure that either isn't there, or if they are a little bit, you know, carrying a little extra weight, is hidden. And even like in younger people, the baby fat that you see in the face sometimes. So the perfectly angled brow, here that classic high arch, this is just that wonderful golden ratio eyebrow with that little higher arch, is going to help to bring out that bone structure. So when you're looking at round, think higher arch and a little bit more angled. And by angled, we simply mean more like that. I say like a V versus a C, although we never really want to make a full C rainbow look. That is going to give a little bit of definition there and give some angularity where that angle is not present. Now we have the long face, and typically with the long face, you're going to have where there is more length vertically than horizontally. Okay, they can still have, you know, great cheekbones and all of that sort of thing, but it really is very long, and oftentimes they have quite a pronounced chin, very, very long there. And so what we're going to do is we want to take away some of that verticalness of that face, so we're going to do eyebrows that are more horizontal. We're going to bring it out a little bit more to the sides here. The tail of the brow should extend a little bit beyond the end of the eye. So if you've done your own eyebrows, you've done makeup, you've done other people's, you know how we measure for the end. With this particular face shape, we can actually go a little bit further out. We can extend it a little bit, because what are we trying to give her? Width. Right, we're trying to give width. Now, that doesn't mean we have them way out here, but a little bit further out, and not down out, but further out this way, a little bit more horizontal. If we sculpt it too long and too low, it's just going to drag the face down. So think this way versus that way.
Well, most of the time we should think about it more horizontally rather than drooping down, because we have to deal with the age difference as well. So when you follow that bone structure, sometimes it's just like going drooping down way too much, especially if you work with a little bit more mature clientele. You have to put that factor into as a role, because you don't want them to box their eyes in like that. So you have to kind of somewhat lift it up to beautify your client.
Yeah. How do you know where to stop?
Well, we're going to show you how to map, and there actually there's measurements that you do, and then also you will work with what's called the arcade of the brow and what you're feeling. And then again, it is like mine go quite far down, but I do get a little help with lifting the eyes there, and so it doesn't droop. I wouldn't do this kind of brow on somebody where you're worried that 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road that eye's going to droop, and that they're not going to do anything about it, because it's really going to bring it down. But we'll show you how to measure. Yep, it makes it really, really easy to get the right brow. Now, here we have a heart-shaped face, and usually with a heart-shaped face, you're going to have a very broad cheekbone area going down narrow, and classically a pointed chin. The forehead can go narrow or not, but it's this width here going to a very narrow chin. And usually, not always, they will tend to have more petite features. This is that kind of classically very feminine looking face. And what we want to do here is have a very groomed eyebrow, not a big bushy eyebrow. Typically on this facial shape, it's going to overpower it. But we want to have that very groomed, arched eyebrow, not skinny though. Nobody really looks good with a super skinny eyebrow. However, oftentimes they will tend to go that way if they're doing their own brows, because of the smaller features. So just remember, nice and groomed. You can see the nice arch there that she has. It's a very controlled brow, and very tight at the top here. So it has a nice line, a nice arch. Groomed is probably the best word to say for this eyebrow, and keeping it so that it balances out that smaller, really often very pointy chin, and so you have a little bit more emphasis on the upper portion. And then of course we're going to
would that be equivalent to diamond shape then as well?
Diamond shapes are very often like that, yes.
I always think you want, obviously an oval, everyone wants to retain that perfection.
Yeah.
But I'd always say if their cheekbone doesn't line up to their hairline,
yes,
that's what a diamond, which would be kind of like a
it's
heart
very
shape.
much like a heart.
So that's what I look for in a lot of.
The hearts sometimes though, instead of the heart going in like that, they sometimes do kind of come they have a little bit more forehead sometimes than the diamonds. But yeah, diamonds and hearts very much the same, absolutely. We're balancing out that smaller chin is what it is. And then of course we're going to come to Jessica Alba. Now personally, I'd like to give her a little more arch there, but that's just me.
Me too. I feel the same
It's like, oh my gosh, Jessica, who did your eyebrows? However, she has that classic, well-proportioned face. She can do whatever she wants on that. However, typically what you're going to have there is just a slight arch, but in all honesty, with that oval face, they can pretty much do what they like. But do you notice how kind of flat that is right there? I think we all like to just give her a little bit more on the tail there, give her a little bit more arch. All right, so any questions on brow shape and face shape? Please don't get hung up on looking and going, oh my gosh, is she a square? Is she pointy-chinned or something? Do you know what I mean? Basically, it's about balance. So if they don't have a lot down on this end, we're going to do a little bit more up here. If they are very long, we're going to go a little bit this way. And it's the balance, because a lot of people don't fall nicely into any of these. They're kind of combinations. And following their own bone structure, and then the golden ratio. If you use golden ratio on someone, no matter who they are, that brow is going to look beautiful.